Which new drivers will join the grid in 2025? Yeah, it's time to talk about how much the grid is going to change with new talent for next year.
A lot has changed with Hamilton moving in, and we're sort of waiting for that second piece of the puzzle to move, because Hamilton going to Ferrari, of course, leaves the Mercedes seat open, and until that seat is filled, I don't think anyone's going to commit to what they're doing, and then everything will fall into place. So hopefully that will also mean new talent.
And not just shuffling.
We need new talent in Formula One. I think the last race showed that, because it made it exciting.
How we're going to grade this is essentially, out of 10, how likely we think each driver that we've selected in this list will get chosen to drive in 2025. 10 being, it's set in stone. 0 being, no hope in hell. So let's begin with Ollie Behrman, the man of the moment, the current Ferrari and Haas reserve. We, of course, know from his debut out in Saudi Arabia, where he had an amazing race, finishing P7 for Ferrari, and also was P6 in his debut Formula 2 year last year with 4 wins. How likely will he join the grid? I am going to go for an 8 out of 10. I think Ollie Behrman has shown some very, very big potential that he could be on the grid and is ready to be on the grid for 2025. I think it depends a little bit on whether K-Mag manages to do 22 more trains and actually wins Hulkenberg the championship through that. I don't want to say any higher than 8, just purely because you never know in Formula 1, but I do think that Ollie has shown, not just with that, but also with his Haas practice sessions that he's done, I think he'll continue to impress and be on the radar of some team, and Haas makes the perfect sense, I think, to go for in 2025.
Yeah, I've gone for a 7 out of 10. I think it, of course, be Haas if it does happen. It just depends, like you mentioned, on K-Mag and whether his performances pick up. If he continues doing a good job and not being way off Hulkenberg and delivers good performances, then Haas maybe think, oh, well, we'll stick with the experience because we're going to be getting points. Maybe they're scarred by the Schumacher and Mazepin season where they caused millions of pounds worth of damage, and they thought, let's never put a rookie in again.
Zane Maloney is up next, the current Sauber reserve, or kick, or whatever you want to call him, who has had an amazing start to the year in Formula 2, leading the title. He won the first 2 races in Bahrain, and he was also the runner-up in Formula 3 in 2022. How likely do I think this is going to happen? 2 out of 10. I think unless Zane Maloney ends up winning every single race from here on in to the end of the Formula 2 season and does one of the most dominant displays ever, I just can't see it happening, at least for 2025. If he wins the Formula 2 championship, you can bet your bottom dollar he will be sat on that pit wall as Formula 2 champion, not being able to race in Formula 2 anymore, but not having a seat in Formula 1. Not, any disrespect to him, but there are other drivers waiting in the wings that I think will be chosen before him if there is that selection open.
I've also gone for a 2 out of 10. I think the biggest problem here for him is a certain Théo Pourchaire, who is also waiting in the wings at Sauber.
Spoiler alert for the next driver.
The next driver. Wow. Even if he has a great year and Zhou Guanyu's performance drops off, or Bottas decides that, you know what, I do just want to make calendars or whatever.
Which was great, by the way.
Which was great,
charity,
of course.
And it was a fantastic cause.
Yeah, I'm only bantering. If that does happen and there is a seat free, I think Théo Pourchaire would be like, hello, I've been sat on the pit wall. Why have you given it to Zane Maloney?
Next up is Théo Pourchaire, who is the current Sauber reserve driver as well. 2020 Formula 3 runner-up, 2022 Formula 2 runner-up, and Formula 2 champion last year. He's now racing in Super Formula. Tommy, hit us with your grade.
I've gone for a 6 out of 10 for Théo Pourchaire. And this is mainly just because I feel like Sauber won't change their lineup potentially and might stick with it. There's also that talk of obviously Audi coming in. If a Carlos Sainz did go there, that already takes up one of those seats if someone drops out. So it's going to be difficult for a young driver to do that. I think with young drivers, if we ignore the Oscar Piastri situation was a very unique situation, a lot of the time it is a case of young drivers join an academy and then hope that they peak at the right time when a seat is available. That is just how the system works. And I worry for Théo Pourchaire with the shake-up that someone might want to go to Audi before they change, and who's going to vacate the 2 seats that they've got currently.
So for me, I have also gone for a 6 out of 10 for Théo Pourchaire. It does just feel like, you know how you've got the meme of the swimming and the kid being held up and then someone underwater. I don't know. Like, I feel like if the opportunity arises, just like you, Tommy, Pourchaire will probably get the call up for Sauber. But there's also part of me that, like, I just feel like he might not get the call up just purely because of how Formula One is working at the moment. Bottas, I still think Bottas has got a few more years left if they continue with him. And look, he's a race winner. I know he's nothing, special these days and is just bantering around most of the time and just having a great time. Would they shake that up? I'm not sure. Obviously, it depends on where Carlos Sainz goes. Is Sainz really going to go to this team in 25? All these things, these moving parts mean that I can't give any higher than a 6 out of 10 for Pourchaire. If anything, I feel like that maybe is even a little bit high, come to think of it. But I've locked in a 6 now, so I have to explain why.
It's also insane that they can be like 20 years old and you're like, but it is true that they're 20 years old and you're kind of like, oh, you've missed the boat a bit there. Like, how is that a thing? But it does.
Fernando Alonso, 43-year-old Chad.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, chilling. We now move to Filipe Dragovic, 2022 Formula 2 champion, Aston reserve driver since 2022, and also did 2023 pre-season testing with Aston after the Lance Stroll injury.
I have gone for a 1 out of 10. And that's not because I think Filipe Dragovic isn't deserving. It's because a certain someone, it's the program that he's in is Aston Martin, and there's a 42-year-old Fernando Alonso driving incredibly well and has finally got a good car underneath him, and Lance Stroll, who will never leave that seat. The difficulty for Dragovic is that he, and even more than Pourchaire, it's two years ago that by the end of the season, it'd be 2 years since he won the Formula 2 championship, and he won it in spectacular fashion. He dominated it. It was sensational, and I think he did deserve a chance, but sadly
he's in the wrong academy.
And he's in the wrong academy at the wrong time. No ill will on Stroll, but I'd love to have seen, just out of curiosity, how he'd have done in that first race in Bahrain. But Stroll came back, did a great job, to be fair. So yeah, I've gone for a 1 out of 10. I just can't see it happening for him.
I've gone for a 2 out of 10 for Filipe Dragovic because my mind is racing right now. Fernando Alonso is obviously going to Mercedes in 2025, so it's going to relinquish that seat, open it up. But would Aston Martin then sign Dragovic? And then you have Dragovic and Stroll, a rookie, and then Stroll who just... You know what I mean? I know that obviously the Fernando Alonso thing is not set on.
Stroll's an experienced driver, but he doesn't feel like it.
Exactly. But I feel like Flavio Briatore and Toto Wolff having a coffee the other day as well that was pictured and has been circulating around. So that seat might be opening up, I tell you that. Honestly, I might have absolutely chefed it up right now if Alonso does go to Mercedes in 25. But then... What does then Aston do?
Yeah,
I'm like, would they sign like Carlos Sainz or something?
Yeah, I think they would. They've shown that Stroll. I think Lawrence has shown that he wants to put very competitive drivers against Lance.
Look, I think Filipe Dragovic, as just like you, Tommy, is an incredibly talented driver, but he's with the wrong team because there's only one movable seat. Jack Doohan is next, current Alpine reserve driver, runner-up in Formula 3 Championship in 2021, and third in Formula 2 in 2023. How likely will he be on the grid? I am going to go for a 0 out of 10 for Jack Doohan. No disrespect to him, but I think there are better drivers waiting in the wings at other teams that could potentially, go, nope, I'm done with this driver academy, I'm going to go to another team that's got a seat available. Jack doesn't have, when you look at the other drivers, the best CV going either. He's an Alpine reserve driver, but you've got Ocon and Gasly, who might both just rip up their contracts at the end of the year because they're driving a dustbin. But if they don't, I don't think they're going to go anywhere. So where does Jack Doohan go? I don't see it personally. So sorry, Jack.
Me neither. I've gone for a 0 out of 10 as well. Look, he's finished third in Formula 2 2023, like you say, and he's not in Formula 2 at the moment. That's going to struggle because at least the drivers that aren't in Formula 2 have won it, so they've got credit in the bank, like we say. And he's also got a big problem that he is an Alpine reserve driver, and we know for whatever reason they don't like to put their junior academy in the car. We've kind of roasted them in the past for being this team that aren't willing to take a punt on a young driver to the point where it took Alonso to shun them for them to be like, oh, go on, Piastri, you have got the seat, without even telling him, because he'd already signed a contract to McLaren. So no offence to Jack Doohan, but he's not been on Piastri's level. I just really don't see it happening for him, sadly.
Let's move to Andrea Kimmy Antonelli, who is a Mercedes Junior, Italian Formula 4 champion, ADAC Formula 4 champion, Formula Regional Middle East champion, Formula Regional European champion, rookie in Formula 2 this year, and massively hyped up by Toto Wolff, just 17 years of age. And my grade for Kimmy Antonelli is 10 out of 10. Signed, sealed, delivered. Goodbye, Logan Sargent. Hello, Andrea Kimmy Antonelli. I don't see him going to the Mercedes seat straight away. I think it would be silly for Toto Wolff to sign him. I know they're trying to make a big noise now that Hamilton's left, but that's not the noise I think you want to make personally. Give him a year in Williams and then promote him in 26, in my opinion. But I do think he's going to Williams.
Yeah, I've gone for an 8 out of 10. There's hype around him. I know a lot of people are jumping on it saying he's too overhyped. And I do think there is a lot of pressure on him. But people in the sport know when they see a star. It happened with Max Verstappen. It happened with Lewis Hamilton. There's been no one, I don't think, since Verstappen that's had a buzz around him quite like Kimmy Antonelli. I think he will deliver, and I can see, like you said, like Williams would be a great chance for him.
Final driver, Liam Lawson, the current Red Bull and RB reserve, replaced Ricciardo in Zandvoort, and hugely impressed in his short Formula 1 spell whilst Danny Rick was getting better. Tommy, what is your grade?
It's a 10 out of 10. I am convinced that Liam Lawson has something in his contract that says that he has to be in Formula 1 next year, or if one of the Red Bull drivers goes, because of how well he did when he stepped up. So I really can't see how he doesn't get a chance, whether that's with RB or even Red Bull. I don't think Red Bull is going to happen because Perez is doing a great job, but I think I do legitimately think that it was in his contract that he must get a seat.
Okay, I've gone for a 9 out of 10 for Liam Lawson. I'm not fully, absolutely 100% categorically convinced that there are no possibilities that he will not, that there will be something that goes wrong for Liam Lawson, especially when it is Red Bull and whatnot. And, you look at the drivers, I don't think he goes to Red Bull, no chance. But, you look at RB and you go, all right, well, if Tsunoda's doing really well, and Daniel Ricciardo is very much the favourite child of Red Bull. So does he manage to convince for one more season? If he does have a bad season, I don't know. But that's the only thing for me, is that they'll go, oh no, Liam, no, it's fine. You're young. We'll get you in 26. New regulations, come in then, sort of thing. I just feel like there is that tiny slither that might happen. I hope not for his sake, because he was really, really good. And he's, like we've been saying earlier, peaked at the right time. And that is that. Tommy, we have graded all of the young drivers that have the best opportunity, or the worst opportunity for some of them, waiting in the wings. What are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are, please, Formula 1 teams, give these new drivers a chance, because I think the last race showed that we need new talent in Formula 1. It makes it exciting. I don't think the fact that the grid is exactly the same has helped our sort of maybe helped an underwhelming start to the year, because there's no storyline of like, oh, how's this driver doing? How's he going to get on against his teammates? All the same. So, of course, in 2025, we've seen the shuffling of drivers around, and because of Hamilton, and it's all going to kick off. I just hope that it's not just shuffling the pack. We also get new talent in as well.
I agree. And if it is the shuffling of the pack, then Formula One, listen up. It's time to introduce more teams, okay? Just bring them in. Stop being silly right now, okay? That's it. That's my final thought. Take care. Adios. Lots of love. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.